Are we going to have a recession in the United States?
As I said on Monday at a talk that I gave at the New York Economic Club, I think we're very close, if not in a recession now. What may be...
You don't need that.
Good. What may be happening is a lot of people are buying in advance of the elevated increases, like lines around Apple stores buying iPhones and all that stuff. But I believe all the uncertainty is really making everyone pause. And everyone's waiting and seeing. And so I think you're going to see this across the board. We just say slow down until we have more certainty. Yeah. And, we now have a 90-day pause on the reciprocal tariffs. That means longer, more elevated uncertainty.
Speaking of pauses, let's take a quick pause. Let's get the opening bell. We'll be right back to Larry for our conversation. Here at the big board, we've got Project Hood. That's a Chicago-based nonprofit aiming to reduce violence, build economic opportunity at the NASDAQ, the online pet pharmacy, Pet Meds. There's something you want to buy. Dog gets sick, man. You got trouble.
No doubt about it.
No doubt about it. All right, Larry, let's continue. I know we got a little bit of background noise here, but you're making the point. You obviously talked about this. Listen, we were talking about it. The uncertainty. So many CEOs we're speaking to. I've heard this now many number of times, similar to early days of COVID, like 5 years ago. Sure. I just don't know what's coming. I have nothing to expect, and so I'm keeping my head down. Is that a fair way to sort of characterize it?
I think that's a bad answer because today you need to run into the uncertainty and try to find solutions. Okay. So keeping your head down, I would not like that as an answer as a shareholder with any CEO.
Right.
I mean, to me, this is an opportunity to look for opportunities. And because of all our clients having uncertainty, we are spending more time with more conversation with more clients globally than any time. Our job now is to be, helping, calming, giving them ideas. So if a CEO said, I'm going to keep my head down.
Well, I guess that was the way one characterized it. But I guess it's the uncertainty itself that creates an inability to do long-term planning in terms of capital allocation.
There's no question CapEx is falling right now until you have better understanding where should that CapEx go. But I do believe, as I said in my talk this morning, I do believe the mega trends are still with us, whether it's AI, data centers, infrastructure, the whole reorientation of our economy. So I think the mega force trends are not going to change by what is happening now, but maybe the execution of some of these trends may be delayed, maybe pushed out longer. But I still remain to be optimistic over the long run. Yes, we have to recalibrate. Yes, I do believe we're probably starting, if not, we're in a recession. Yes, I think the market is still underestimating how high inflation can get. If you factor in all the tariffs,
right?
You factor in all these other issues, it's going to be quite additive. I mean, I read in a report that if you just take the tariffs in the cost of home building, the average new home could be up as much as 26%. We already have a housing affordability problem.
None of this sounds any good to me, Larry. And it's all self-inflicted, by the way. None of it needed to happen.
This is not a pandemic. This is not a financial crisis. This is something that we've created. As I said also on Monday, the United States post-World War II was a global stabilizer. We are the global destabilizer.
Right.
Now, Larry, that's a very hard thing to say because I pride ourselves of being, bringing the leadership, bringing the conversations. But I will say the power of U.S. capitalism is still alive. I will say more and more times clients worldwide are asking for our, at least at the CEO level, they're asking for our vision, our views. They still want to engage. They still want to build. So I'm less. Long term, I'm less worried about some of these issues, but in the short run, I'm petrified at some of these issues.
Petrified.
Well, let's speak of being petrified. You and I are old enough to remember when Nixon went to China, opened the door,
or the gold, or walking away from the gold standard.
Right, the same couple of years, and I think that there was tremendous anxiety then going the other way. Did we really think that we could have a great relationship with Mao, who was a mass murderer? Did we think that we could actually do business with China? We did $1 billion with them the next year, but then next thing we know, we're doing $100 billion. Now we're doing $438 billion, and now we want to do zero. How does zero impact our country?
Well, we've had now 20 plus years of supply chain creations, and Another economic force, Jim, post-World War II was consumerism. So we built the whole foundation of economic policy around consumerism, providing Americans with the cheapest products. And so that was the foundation. Now, did that come at a cost that some of our communities were decimated, where they lost jobs? Absolutely. So maybe we went too far on the whole concept of consumerism, but let's be clear, the major economic foundation was based on consumerism. And so we wanted our companies to go around the world to find the best places to provide the highest quality at the cheapest prices so we could consume more. And we always thought that type of consumption was the most progressive form of economic behavior. More people could have more, and that was one of the fundamental reasons why the United States was the leader.
Yes,
because our citizens were huge consumers. By now changing this equilibrium, it's going to be harder to consume, and we're going to have elevated inflation.
Do we